Hey guys, it's Thursday, and that means it's time for another episode of the Daily Berg. Holy Spirit, what do you want to say today? I feel like a lot of you guys have been grieving in your heart over things you're not sure are actually going to happen. Like God gave you dreams, or you feel like God gave you dreams, and you haven't seen them come into fruition. So when you're praying, half the time you're not sure if you can trust what you're asking for, and then the other half of the time you feel like your needs aren't that important because you didn't see them met in this particular area. And what I want to suggest to you is that when Jesus presents God as a good dad, he also presents the enemy as one who steals and kills and destroys. Now, Jesus would never have to bring that up unless it was a character trait that we would have to deal with at some point. Like, he never spent a lot of time talking about, the random bits and pieces. He talked about stuff that was in real-time application because he said what he heard his father saying, and he did what he saw his father doing. So as you're talking with Papa, as you're entering into partnership with him, I want to encourage you to have hope and to recognize that any area where you lack hope is most likely under the influence of a lie. Something to the effect of, well, you won't actually provide for me even though you say you will, or you won't actually care about my heart, or you don't actually care about what I want. Those are lies, and you can know that they're lies because if you have a concept of God that limits his affection for you, it's most likely a lie, because what you end up with when Jesus is on the cross is an infinite sacrifice for a finite group of people. Not in the sense of God is excluding people, but in the sense of even if the human race went on for another, billion years, God's still infinite, and infinity is still bigger. So it's always an overpayment. So Jesus doing what he did is what equips us, in no small part. It is the knowledge that gives us a basis to understand God's affection, and not to fully comprehend it. Infinite love is infinite, and our minds are finite. But we have an access point, or an access hatch, if you want to go sci-fi with me, or I guess nautical as well, where we can get in and actually have a presentation in front of us, an idea of how huge God's affection is for us. That while we were still busted, he came into the muck and the mire and pulled us out of it, dusted us off, and put on, he let us put on his robe and gave us his ring. So, Holy Spirit, is that it? No. So guys, I seriously, I encourage you to ask Holy Spirit to point out any area where there's a lie that's being believed. Renounce those things in Jesus' name. Like, you remember back in the day for me, it was the lie that I was bad, or not having any value. So it was, okay, I renounce the lie that I'm bad in Jesus' name. Which is really simple to say, but when I said it the first time, it took me 15 minutes to get that sentence out. And anyways. So be willing to take the time, walk stuff through with him. He's real, and it's a personal relationship. It's not about religion. It's not about trying to meter righteousness and then establish what you deserve because of your actions. That's works, and it doesn't work. Ha 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 ha. Horrible pun. It works, and it doesn't function inside of the kingdom. That is servanthood at best. And servants are, they're in the kingdom, but Jesus in life with the disciples, when they got the upgrade before they actually got Holy Spirit, it moved from, I have called you servants, but now I call you friends. Because a servant doesn't know everything that his master is doing, but I've told you everything that my Father's bringing to the table. It's like we have access to that. We get to be friends. And then John takes it a step further and says, to all of them, he gave the right to become children of God. And he's a good dad, and Jesus illustrated that plainly, So guys, I just want to encourage you. Don't be bashful with this, and don't use false humility to try and keep yourselves bound to stuff that the enemy is trying to convince you about your identity. God's plan for you is huge and awesome. And it's worth it to take the time to know what that is and to ask him to show it to you, and to just to do the life with him that you need to do to establish that in your own walk. So I bless you guys in Jesus' name. I'm stoked that this is out so much earlier in the day, and we will see you tomorrow.